This MSc is really designed for people who have an interest in domestic politics of different countries. So it comes out of the field of comparative politics, which is my area of specialization. But comparative politics as a field, and as I understood it when I was being trained that way, it was a bit too theoretical, and I wanted to apply it to a policy context, which is why the MSc is developed in this way. It's in essence comparative politics for people interested in policy and the real world, who will be working in the real world afterwards. So for example, we do things like study electoral systems, comparing differences between electoral systems, but especially relevant this year, we've done some work on non-democracies, on transitions to democracy, what makes people mobilize against regimes, what's the role of the army in these kinds of situations. So it really does cover a broad range of topics, and it really is a degree for people who want to think about domestic context seriously. And in that sense, it differs from some other degrees that might focus more on international relations. It really is about domestic politics, but about comparative domestic politics, so not only with a Western focus, but thinking more broadly. Well, in terms of thinking of the world at large, London is a perfect place to be. And we have a mixture of different NGOs, for example, non-governmental organizations that do work internationally, NGOs that work on human rights that also mix with democracy themes or development. And in addition, we have the base of the UK government. So, for example, we're able to use that in the program, and we go to see the Mayor's Question Time every year, which is great. We get to see how politics works in action at the domestic level, and that's always good for students. In addition, they can also do internships, and many do during their time here, because there's a wealth of internships in London. As well as the fact that, so we tend to get people from all over the globe. Because London is such a great city to be, you really will have a wealth of other students from other countries and be exposed to a lot of different ideas. That's one of the things we've really built up in the program. We also have a quite small size compared to other programs that might be in London. And that's good because the students really get to know each other well and are able to exchange ideas on a quite deep level. So UCL is a pretty good choice for that reason. There were two things of note that happened this year in class that I really liked. One was that we focused especially on different electoral systems. And so I was quite happy when we went into the referendum on AV in the UK that the students were very well up to speed and able to explain to their friends what was going on in this referendum. I liked that very much. The second thing, I had received some critiques from colleagues also working in comparative politics for continuing to teach on autocracies and transitions and revolutionary movements. And then we started to see all these demonstrations in the Middle East. And what's really interesting and important in comparative politics that comes out of the theorizing is, for example, the role of the army and how crucial that is in a transition. So you can have people on the streets, and one sort of hopes that those people won't be killed by an army or won't be mowed down by the state that wants to hold on to power. But in fact, we do see and have seen the repressive arm of the state reaching out and harming people who are trying to demonstrate against it. So a state, in essence, protecting its interests. And in a way, that's something theorists had forgotten about since Tiananmen Square so long ago. We'd had all these revolutions in Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union that made us quite optimistic about this kind of thing. And we've now seen that there's still room for theorizing about how it is these different actors operate under situations that are uncertain. And that means that the outcomes are uncertain, and what will happen in the Middle East remains quite uncertain, I would say.